Hi, y'all. Welcome to the Griffon Show. It is Hump Day. All you people that don't have hangovers, welcome to the program. The rest of y'all, I don't know if they woke up yet or they taking medicine, but who knows. Anyway, great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. President Obama gets a $60 million book deal between him and his wife, and the money will just roll in. Wait till you see what Eric Holder's predicting. And they think this guy's going to bring the Democrat Party back. He's the reason they lost. It's just crazy. Absolutely crazy. But anyway, and Donald Trump was absolutely brilliant. Matter of fact, Van Jones, who is a communist now. He claims he's a communist. And that's why Obama liked him a lot, because there's not a big difference between a Marxist and a communist. Van Jones, the moment Trump became president, because he reached out to everybody saying, we're trying to do some stuff. Trump seeks to turn post-speed boost into action because he needs help from Republicans. You know, Lindsey Graham, you remember him? By the way, Lindsey Graham and John McCain look to me as uncomfortable, and Brandon, this is me, uncomfortable as the Democrats were. Oh, yeah. They did. They looked as uncomfortable. John McCain had the eat and grin on his face all night. Democrats, of course, is the divide party. They've always accused Republicans of that because they had the press on the side to accuse them of that. You know, even the line, Brandon, and by the way, I got to watch, not all of it, but most of it. Even the line when Trump said, you know, we all bleed red and we all come from God. All of us. And by the way, that's a true statement. The Democrats couldn't even stand up for that. I mean, it's amazing. Now, look, it's a speech. They're bipartisan. Did you like Nancy Pelosi's face?
Oh, that was hilarious.
Does Nancy Pelosi look like she's having a rough day or what? A bad hair day, a bad makeup day, a bad day in general. I mean, they showed Schumer several times, and I'm going, look at these people. They almost wish they were listening to some foreign dictator and being excited about it. You know, the Democrats have shown who they are, and I just kind of get a kick out of watching this. Trump wants a $1 trillion infrastructure. He said $1 trillion worth of infrastructure. And the Democrats ought to clap for that. I mean, hell, that's spending money for government. And by the way, I think they did. That may have been one of the few things they clapped for. And of course, Brandon, when you're grabbing people out the audience with disabilities and things of that nature, they have no choice but to clap for that. Okay, they had no choice. But Trump's speech was based in optimism. What's best for the country? You know, we hadn't had a president like that probably since Ronald Reagan. Bill Clinton was pretty good at putting it. Obama was not. He was going to be a divider and conqueror because that's who he really is. But Trump was trying to bring people together and have some optimism. And everybody I talked to today that voted for Donald Trump, which was a lot, they're very optimistic. Very optimistic because Donald Trump is portraying optimism in his speech. Yes, sir.
Can I tell you a couple areas? Because you brought up President Obama that I noticed last night where he was very much opposite of President Obama. Let's look at one area where he talked when he said
Obamacare.
Well, we know about that, but in messaging, okay? Last night he's telling our allies that America will be ready to lead, be strong, proud, and free. I remember President Obama talking about that. He was so much wanting to defer to everybody else.
He also was an apologetic president.
That was what I was getting at.
And by the way, Brandon, we always go, and Trump said this too, just going the same thing you're saying. Trump said we're going to have enemies. Mm-hmm. He said, and we're going to have friends. And he said some of the people we used to be enemies with, we're friends with now. By the way, that's a true statement.
Yeah.
You're always going to have a few. You know, I got a couple. Mm-hmm. I don't know why, Innocent Moon and all that, Brandon. But my point being is he mentioned that along the line of what you're saying.
Two more that I noticed as well, differing from Obama. He talked about not allowing our past mistakes to trip us up going forward. As you just mentioned, President Obama was such an apologist, always talking about our past sins.
And blame Bush.
And then the other one, President Trump talked a lot about, a lot anti-drug after President Obama was letting all kinds of drug dealers go with all the commutations he put out.
You know, Brandon, one of the things he touched upon, too, was inner cities. He mentioned Chicago by name, which, by the way, they're on a faster murder rate than they were last year. He talked about inner cities, but Democrats have talked about it, and they have allowed this to happen to their constituents, that they get them to vote for them, but let them stay in hellholes. And these cities and inner cities have become hellholes, and unfortunately, mostly for minorities. And it didn't have to be that way. It never has to be that way. But they're going to blame Republicans and blame Trump and blame Bush, and that's what gets me so upset. with people in the minority communities that continue to vote Democrats and never see anything get better. And it's never going to get better with socialistic planning. But to clean out an inner city like Chicago would take the police going in house by house, almost like it would be going in and looking for terrorists and weeding out the bad guys. And yes, having to kill some of the bad guys, because there's some bad people in there, some drug runners, some dope pushers. And it would have to take that. But the black community would have to be along with the policeman. I'm glad he praised the policeman. I'm glad he talked about getting along and working with them, because that's what needs to be done. But the Democrats love inner cities. They love all these people piled on each other. They don't care what goes on with these people. They never will care for them. And the reason caring is not coming up with another social program and delivering a check. That is not caring for them, okay? And then you leave, and you never come back until it's election time. And you go find the people who can deliver the votes, from the pastors to the thugs that can deliver the votes and cheat. I mean, that's not taking care of people. So why can't we go city to city, find the drug and the thug heads and the people that are doing the killing and the shootings and the drive-by shooting and the gangs, and run them out of here? Put them all on Guantanamo Bay. That's where they ought to put them all. Every single one of them. All the bad people. You know, we have to be tough. It's not going to change. And Trump did a good job of being optimistic about the country heading in the right direction. It's not what the left was thinking. You can see the faces. I mean, Nancy Pelosi's mugshot. It looks like she was just arrested and being put in prison. That's what her mugshot looks like. And I've seen several pictures of her. I'm going, look, did she get arrested or something? My first thought when I saw her, Brandon, was, did she get arrested? Because she looked like a mugshot when you got arrested, and you're sitting there going, oh, my God, they got me. That's what she looks like. Schumer. These people will never play fair. You know, then there was the comment from the ex-Kentucky governor who did the, I guess he's a senator now, Democrat senator maybe. But the guy called himself a Democrat and a Republican.
Oh, you're talking about Steve Beshear?
Yeah, do you have that?
Well, no, I don't. I was going to talk to you about that during the break because I can't find it.
Okay, I'll find it
Steve
for you.
Beshear was the former governor of Kentucky.
That's him. And what he said, Brandon, and look, he took up for Obamacare and talked about, and Bell Edwards does the same thing. Okay? And Brandon, if you can't find it right on Drudge, oh, there it is, Brandon. Go to Drudge. Right under Nancy Pelosi's pretty picture says confusion, dim giving response calls self-Republican.
Okay.
Now, look, the guy goes on to brag about Obamacare has got more people with health care. Let me tell you something what the states are not telling people, and this governor's not either. Most of the people on Medicare, Medicaid, they're not self-sufficient, and if they're on Obamacare, they're getting subsidized. And I'm sorry, folks, the subsidizing of some of this stuff has got to go. It's going to break us. But they keep bragging about Obamacare. You don't understand, man. And Bell Edwards, Obama Knight, is doing the same thing. The one-term governor we have, he's doing the same thing. And so do you have that? Okay, here is the former Kentucky governor. This is him calling himself a Democrat, a Republican, an American. He's confused about who he is. He's supposed to be ripping Trump.
I'm a proud Democrat, but first and foremost, I'm a proud Republican and Democrat and mostly American. And
You
like
can cut
many
it right
of
there.
you,
We're going to play that again. Folks, this is the Democrat response. He don't even know who he is. I'm a Muslim and I'm a Christian. Come on, man. I'm a Muslim. Most of all, I'm a Christian. Never mind, that sounds like Obama. I'm just saying, listen to just play that up again. Listen to the response. A confused Democrat.
I'm a proud Democrat, but first and foremost, I'm a proud Republican and Democrat and mostly American.
Hey, listen, I'm
like
a Democrat,
many of you,
and most of all, I'm a Republican and a Democrat and a proud American. That was the response from the guy. Then he goes on. He does go on to rip Trump about how Obamacare is saving that. Obamacare is collapsing. If they left it alone, we're in trouble. Democrats know it. The problem we got is Republicans won't come up with something that's free market. I do believe we have to have a safety net for poor people. I'm never going to argue about that. There's got to be something to help people out. I'm not saying they don't, okay? So I am on the same page. But if you're out there working and busting your butt and you can afford an insurance plan because it's affordable, okay, I want to think about those people first because they're out there going to work to pay their insurance premium. Second, we think about, okay, who can't afford it? And this is my third question. Who can afford it if they would get off their butts and go to work? I'm not talking about the people who can't afford it because they have some special problems, but who can afford it by going to work? Trump's talking about creating jobs. I mean, I got to tell you, there's a lot of people pumped up except for the left. And it was Obama getting ready to re-enter the politics. By the way, they want him to be president in Paris. Is it Paris? Let me go back and look at that. And I'm all for it. I think he should denounce us and go over there and give them the glory. Telling you couldn't do it without $10 trillion of extra debt. We'll be right back.
I'm a proud Democrat, but first and foremost, I'm a proud Republican and Democrat and mostly American. And like many of you, I am...
Well, if he's mostly American, what else is he? Is he Vietnamese? Is he Iranian? Well, that's what he's saying. Hi, y'all are. Welcome back to the Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. Oprah rethinking if she could be president. I think she ought to run. Absolutely, Oprah should run. I want Oprah to run. No, absolutely, Oprah should run. And run with Obama. Michelle is her sidekick. Absolutely, let him run. I have no problem with that. Anyway, yeah, look, the guy. That was the Democrat response to Donald Trump. And he's a Democrat, but mostly he's a Republican. But he's really not a Republican. But he's a Democrat, too. And he is mostly American. So I don't know if he's Puerto Rican. Is he Mexican? I'm just asking. If he's mostly American, he must think he's something else too, right?
Never mind the fact that as lieutenant governor, as governor twice, and as the state's attorney general, he all served as a Democrat.
They would have put Nancy Pelosi up there, folks, but she would have looked bad on the camera. Gee whiz. Have a little optimism out there. Man. After 8 years of hell, have a little optimism.
I mean, what does that say about the Democrat Party, though, that you're going to put a former governor to give the response?
Well, I don't know. They put Jindal up there one time and he bombed.
Yeah, but Jindal was the current governor and was seen as an up-and-coming person.
Yeah.
That was obviously a big part of his kind of downfall on the national
but it started
scale,
it quickly.
Yeah, definitely.
That was Timmy Teeple.
But they have nobody. It seems like they have nobody on their bench.
Brian, they're not even in the game.
I know.
You know what their problem is? They playing left field only.
Yes.
And they're way in the left corner, and they're not even on the field. They're not even in a playing game. In the playing surface. They got to lie, steal, and cheat to even get in the playing bill. You can look at all their policies. Go look in the inner cities. Chicago and all these places. Sanctuary State. All the things that are un-American now, they're good at that. Let's tell you what, Brandon. I know we got some calls, but I do want to play a few Trump sound bites.
Oh, okay.
You had some. I wanted you to get tax reform, Obamacare, and stuff like that. I do want to play a few, and then we'll take some phone calls. I know some people have been waiting for a while. So you had those lined
up. What you
up.
want first, tax reform?
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right, here we go. Let me get this cued.
Right now, American companies are taxed at one of the highest rates anywhere in the world. My economic team is developing historic tax reform that will reduce the tax rate on our companies so they can compete and thrive anywhere and with anyone.
All right. Brandon, current tax rate's 35%, highest in the world, and that needs to be around 15 at the most. I think they're looking at 15 to 20. What that'll do is help companies stay here. They look at the bottom line. That will help companies stay here. That will help us grow our companies. Did he say anything about the EPA or the nutted up? I don't think he touched climate change, really, did he?
No, I didn't hear him say that.
What about Obamacare? Did he touch that?
All right, here we go. Here's some Obamacare for you.
We should help Americans purchase their own coverage through the use of tax credits and expanded health savings accounts. But it must be the plan they want, not the plan forced on them by our government.
That is an awesome quote. It's been forced on me. And it's been forced on everybody out there that are hurting. And another thing is these governors like Bell Edwards, the one-term governor, bragging about how, boy, they got so many people now that have insurance. It's Medicare and Medicaid. It's not insurance. It's not. And they're killing us. They're killing the working people out there. That's what you can't tell an Obama person that likes Obamacare. You can't tell. What about me? You got yours. I don't even want anything. Brandon, the tax breaks for people that need the breaks is all it is. It's not even subsidizing anything. And by the way, he said people that want to pay for it themselves. Everybody ought to pay for it themselves. And people that can't, There ought to be clinics in the local areas you can go to instead of the emergency room. All right. Was there anything else on Obamacare?
No, not that I have in front of me, but he's got a lot of other. I mean, he's got the border wall. You want to hear about that?
Okay, just do the border wall. We take a call and we take a break.
We want all Americans to succeed, but that can't happen in an environment of lawless chaos. We must restore integrity and the rule of law at our borders.
I'm bringing a couple things on that. First of all, there are laws on the books that he's going to go enforce now that should have been enforced, but Barack Obama decided to enforce no laws at the border. I just think it's amazing. Number two, great line in the speech. You'll remember this, and I'm not going to say it exactly like he said it, but he said, we've spent all these years protecting everybody else's borders around the country, and we forgot about protecting ours. That, to me, was a key line. I thought it was an awesome line, and I thought it was right on the money.
Well, and here's another one that was pointed out last night as well that I think goes along with that. When he said, my job is not to represent the world. My job is to represent the United States of America.
By the way, Brandon, let's stop right there. That line, I remember the line, the Republicans stood up and clapped. The Democrats sat on their rear ends on that one. So they don't believe that Trump's number one job is the United States of America because they've been watching Obama, was number one job was to apologize for America. And that key line right there was big, and the Democrats sat down. They don't think the president of the United States' number one job is our country. They don't. They never have. That's why they want the borders. They just want to win elections and dominate. And that, to my friend, floored them.
I thought it was hilarious too when he would at times make the hand motions while saying what he was saying about about the partisan divide and making the hand motions towards the Democrats on his right hand side. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh no, and that's the only time the Democrats are going to sit to the right of him is during a congressional speech or State of the Union. That's the only time they're going to be to the right. They're to the left of everything, but they can't clap. What do you think the president's job to do, folks? To go protect the whole world, to open our borders up, to let everybody in. That's what the left's gotten to. The crazy left. And boy, they crazy. We'll take a break. You're listening. Hi, hello. Welcome back. Moon Griffon Show. Great to have you with us. 844-766-6607. Hickson has it hotline. HicksonHasIt.com. My good friend Dallas Hickson in the game. Waiting on you. HicksonHasIt.com. All righty. We'll continue. By the way, your comments on Trump, if you got to see it last night, it was really good. I mean, he really hit on some part. Here's a couple quotes or cuts on this right here, dealing with Iran and ISIS that I think is awesome. Then I'm going to read a quote that, Brandon, I don't know if you played it or not, but you did mention it just a second ago about him. He represents us, not the world, which I thought was an awesome quote. But here's Iran and ISIS.
I have also imposed new sanctions on entities and individuals who support Iran's ballistic missile program, and reaffirmed our unbreakable alliance with the State of Israel. As promised, I directed the Department of Defense to develop a plan to demolish and destroy ISIS, a network of lawless savages that have slaughtered Muslims and Christians and men and women and children of all faiths and all beliefs. We will work with our allies, including our friends and allies in the Muslim world, to extinguish this vile enemy from our planet.
Now, is that not opposite of the thing we had in there for 8 years? Who was sucking up to Iran, who was slapping Israel in the face, and who never did anything about ISIS. Ever. Ever. Even tried to scare to death to say the word. I wonder why. I mean, that's some tough rhetoric right there. If he goes through with it, which I think he should, what a blessing. Here's the best quote of the night, or at least one of them. My job is not to represent the world. My job is to represent the United States of America. And the president that just left didn't have any clue about that. Open the borders, let people come in. You people, we're going to pay the price for that. It's going to happen during Trump's administration. Well, Trump need to protect us. Not when you let people through here that never should have gotten in. That's a shame. It's a sin and a shame. My job, somebody tells me why the Republicans stood up, and I don't know about Lindsey Graham and John McCain, who, by the way, should have went sit on the other side, in my humble opinion. They looked they looked like they were fretting as much as Nancy Pelosi and Schumer. I don't know why they just didn't go sit over there. They'd been fine with me, by the way. And my job is not to represent the world. My job is to represent the United States of America. Would somebody tell me what the President of the United States is supposed to do? This representing this world government that the President Obama liked is crazy. But that's what the President said last night. He was not scared to say it. Now, one other thing. Dealing with Obamacare. And he made a great point. Obamacare is collapsing, folks. And if we don't do something about it, you people with good plans that ain't been hit yet, you're going down next. And the only thing they can brag about in the plan, the only thing they really brag about is the Medicaid, whatever you want to talk about, is how people are getting free stuff and people are getting subsidized. That's it. Why we going broke, by the way. And by people like me and other people like us that are paying mega premiums and having to jam our deductibles so high. I feel like I'm paying for 5 other people, too, that I shouldn't be paying for.
But I hear from people all the time, fewer and fewer doctors seem to be taking Medicaid.
They're dropping it out left and right, Brandon, because they decided it's not worth the money you're getting back. Mm-hmm. Now, there's some good doctors out there that are taking it. But the point being is, if he leaves it alone, it blows up in everybody's face. And they're going to blame Trump. Of course, they're blaming Bush still. They're going to blame Trump. If they don't do anything, it blows up because it's already blowing up. I mean, we're supposed to have all these people competing for Obamacare, and all of a sudden every state goes down to 1 or 2 companies that are even still around, and they're losing their butts off. But you can't tell that to the Democrat. You can't tell that to the left. You can't. When you got a Kentucky governor who don't know if he's a Democrat or a Republican, and he's mostly American citizen, so I guess he's Iranian or something else, you can't tell him that because that's not what they're preaching. He said Obamacare is collapsing. We must act decisively to protect all Americans. Action is not a choice. It's a necessity. Democrats know it. Democrats gave it to us. They gave us this hemorrhoid problem. I'm telling you they did. So I'm calling Democrats, Republican Congress to work to save Americans from the imploding Obamacare disaster. And he talks about buying insurance across state lines and expand the use of health savings accounts, which is the right thing to do. And if you're not in that program, okay, then that's fine. But let people who want to pay for their insurance like me be able to compete. That's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for anything else. People like me and small business people like me, and with very small businesses, they can call this program right now and tell you what their insurance is doing. And they can tell you right now that it's putting them out of business. My own insurance agent looked at me and said, Moon, it's people like you, they're decimating. They're destroying because of Obamacare. But see, you don't hear the governors talk about that. They talk about the poor people that are getting the freebies and some of them subsidized. But what about the rest of us, which is the majority of people getting slashed and slammed and cut and knifed? They don't talk about that. The press doesn't talk about that. You know, and so I'll tell you one other thing that I took away from this is that people that especially voted for Trump and kind of understand what's going on or understand what goes on are optimistic for the first time in a long time that maybe something's going to be done. Not that Trump's not giving me anything that can make me happy, except a competitive spirit and competitive working place. I have to go do it, folks. The left doesn't understand this. They don't want to understand this. That's why they stick everybody in inner cities. They throw a bunch of programs at them and free cell phones and call it a victory, and then they go out and vote for Obama and people like him. And their lives never change. The inner cities, after 8 years of Barack Obama, are worse than they were 8 years ago. They're a lot worse. Chicago, his home area, way worse. The killings and the shootings, the guns. Not the guns. People have been put in a situation, there's no respect, there's no hope, there's no dreams. If your hope and dream is to elect a black president, you did it. Where are you going now? It's like saying I'm going to elect a white president. It don't mean nothing to me. I want to elect a leader. Obama was not a leader. Deal maker, try to shove policies down your throat. That was Obama. Trump's trying to say, hey, Moon, go be the best you can be. I'm going to make it to where you can go compete. You got to pay for it. But go compete and find the best insurance plan that you possibly can. Thank you, Mr. President. I will. Get out of my way. But not the left. Control, dominate, own by giving them just enough to survive and calling that prosperity. There's the problem. That's the divide in this country right now. You look at Venezuela. Everybody that voted for Obama should have to go live in either Cuba or Venezuela for 1 year. You go over there and best of luck. Find your job, find your life. See what you can do. You should have to go live in what they want to push on us because they own those people. They're poor. They can't buy food. I read a story that the average person has lost 19 pounds. Brian, there's no food. There's nothing. And look, they got vast amount of oil and gas, but Venezuela is no different than anywhere else. They got assets and resources there that's not being tapped into because the government's saying what you can and can't do. They're trying to get that here. That's what man-made global warming is all about. I had to throw that in. And by the way, Brandon, we have a man-made global warming. What is that, about 2 minutes? 3 minutes?
About 3 minutes.
Okay, what we'll do is we'll take a break and come back. Tucker Carlson in this, what is this, the science guy?
Bill Nye the
science guy, who, by the way, is not a scientist. Got into it the other day. I want to let you hear that as well, among other things. And, of course, your phone calls are welcome. 844-766-6607. Hickson has that hotline if you had a chance to watch it last night. Let us know. We'd love to hear from you. We'll take a break. Be right back.